Dragon Ball Super murdered its finale.
Know your place, worm. Prepare yourself. Damn Saiyan.
What Dragon Ball Super has done with the Tournament of Power is something that it really has never done in either Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, and that is, with a conscious effort, murder its finale. By that, I'm talking about the ending fight, the climax. For every series we've had so far, for every arc we've had so far, the climax is at the end of it. The last fight. It usually ties up the entire story, and we get to see the evildoer finally get his due. Frieza gets destroyed at the end of the Frieza arc, or at least cut in half. Cell gets obliterated. Majin Buu, or Kid Buu, also gets obliterated. The climax of the Goku vs. Beerus fight is at the end of the arc, and so on and so forth. Golden Frieza, the Universe 6 arc where Goku faces off against Hit, Zamasu, Merge Zamasu, all that stuff always happens at the very end of its arc. And the reason for this is that's the way that normal storytelling is done. The climax is usually at the very end. So what did Dragon Ball Super do with the Tournament of Power? Well, they had their climax at the very middle of the Tournament of Power. The one fight that was hyped so much that streaming services crashed because people were trying to watch this fight. And of course, I'm talking about Ultra Instinct Goku versus Jiren. Now, we all knew this was going to happen, but none of us even thought that this is going to happen at the very middle of the tournament because there was still so much more left, and that's not usually the way that most animes tell this story. Usually it's at the very end when something this epic happens. We got Goku versus Jiren in the intro, and people were speculating on who this character was. We got hints in the intro that Goku was going to transform into something different. Then we got a whole bunch of promotional material on the fact that Goku was going to get a new transformation. Spoilers stated that this fight was going to happen sometime in September and October, and of course it did in a 2-hour special. That was by far some of the best that Dragon Ball Super, if not the best, that Dragon Ball Super has had to offer, and the hype surrounding it really went a long way to cement it in the fans' minds. And since then, we've had several fights leading to the end of the Tournament of Power, which will end in a few more episodes, along with all of Dragon Ball Super, and the fights have been hit or miss. There have been some great ones, but none of them have reached the height of that initial Goku versus Jiren fight. And to be sincerely honest, I don't think that the fight at the end of this tournament, Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku versus Jiren, is going to reach that same hype level, that same legend level as that initial Ultra Instinct Goku versus Jiren fight. It could be a really good fight. It could actually even be a better fight in terms of animation and sequencing, the way it ends, the way it conducts itself. Maybe they throw some flashbacks and develop Jiren's story a little bit more throughout the fight. All that still won't make this climax any more epic or memorable than the initial climax we got in the middle of the Tournament of Power. Now, I'm going to be the first one to tell you that this is not a bad thing. This is actually a great thing for Dragon Ball, and in my opinion, more anime should do storytelling this way. This is probably one of the main things that Dragon Ball got right. Basically because not only did we get the best fight and the most hyped fight in the middle of the tournament, we knew there was going to be a rematch at the end of the tournament between these two characters that was also going to be fulfilling. And when we all did a collective climax when this fight was being promoted and taking place, we all knew there was so much more of Super to come. And again, the fights have been good and they have been not so good, but we still got more Super after that, after the climax. And we're about to get a second climax, maybe not as powerful, but we're going to get this second climax when Goku finally faces off against Jiren again. And the legacy of telling the story this way is the fact that even if that ending fight becomes disappointing, even if the ending of Dragon Ball Super, the way it ends and wraps up, is disappointing, we still have fond memories and think back on that initial fight and engagement between these two characters that brought the community together and hyped us all up more for more Dragon Ball, which we did get, and made us look forward to this ending fight that we're about to get. And I think that's fantastic. And the only recollection that I have of any other anime doing it this way, if you guys have any anime that has done it this way, or any show that's done it this way, let me know in the comment section below what that is. But the only one that I can think of is My Hero Academia. And of course, it's going to go to your personal taste of which fight do you think was the climax in that Season 2. But for me, the Season 2 climax was wholeheartedly Deku versus Todoroki during this anime's own tournament arc. Of course, after that, we did get a couple of memorable fights throughout the ending, toward the ending, and some may argue that maybe Deku versus Stain was also hitting those high notes. But for me personally, it was that Deku versus Todoroki fight. And honestly, once that fight ended, we had still so much more left to enjoy of My Hero Academia, leading up to that climax ending where Deku faces All Might. And so I'll be the first one again to reiterate that telling the story this way, the murder of the Dragon Ball Super finale when it comes to the fight is not a bad thing. And if Dragon Ball Super does come back in any form, I'm hoping they do it again. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this topic. I like to do these topics with you guys a lot more frequently now because I've gotten a lot more time. And if you have any ideas for topics or discussions or anything like that, let me know in the comment section below, because if I choose your topic, I will give you a shout out, a huge shout out in the video that I'm making the topic about. And don't forget to drop me a like, guys. It helps the video out a lot. Subscribe if you haven't, and this is going to be Dragon Ball Black signing off.